Ladders are used virtually everywhere in the scene shop, from hanging lights to painting hard-to-reach places. There are many uses and many types.
Some of these ladders include a trestle ladder, an A-frame ladder, and an extension ladder. All of these ladders have safety instructions on the side of the ladder. They vary from ladder to ladder, but the basics of the ladders are the same.
When using a trestle extension ladder, you should always be sure to check that it is locked in place before climbing so it won't move. You have to make sure that you read all of the safety instructions before climbing. After reading all the labels and instructions, it's important to realize that a tool like this should only be used by somebody who is a trained professional or someone who's had experience using the tool, which will be you after watching this video.
You can never use metal planks or guy lines when operating next to an electrical current. It is very dangerous. It's dangerous, I like it, But in all seriousness, it is very dangerous and you should not do it.
Though it may seem obvious, it's important to reiterate that you should never overload a ladder. It's not only dangerous to yourself, but it's hazardous to others.
Now, remember, there should only be one person on one side of the ladder at all times. Excuse me? Did I say you could use my ladder? That's right, go on. Disrespectful.
But if you're looking for something to do, it's important that you spot the ladder while somebody else is climbing. It's always important to be safe.
Now that we're talking about climbing ladders, let's not get it twisted. A-frame ladders have two sides to them, but only one of them is climbable. Obviously, the thicker side is the one you want to climb up because it can actually support a human being. This side couldn't even support a sparrow. Don't be ridiculous and use the obvious choice of the side of the ladder. Now, when you're operating a ladder, make sure to never keep anything on the top of the ladder. There's a really easy place to keep your things. On the ground. Now, when you're using tools, make sure that you fasten them to your wrist, so that way people walking under the ladder don't mysteriously get hit with a giant piece of metal. And in the same vein, make sure you check the ladder thoroughly before you leave it to check for any tools. It's that easy.
Now, another obvious tip that I need to make sure I tell you is that you should check the feet of the ladder before climbing. You want to make sure that they're placed completely flat on the ground so it's stable when you go up. At the same time, if you're using something like an extension ladder, you also want to make sure that it is firmly pressed up against the wall. That way it won't move while you're climbing up. Now, as you may have noticed by now, I've been wearing my keys during this video. Now, that may be okay while I'm talking to you about ladder safety, but it's not safe while I'm climbing a ladder. In fact, it's not safe while working in the shop at all. When you're working in the shop, you can't be wearing dangling things like this. You have to make sure that you're wearing tight enough clothing that it won't get snagged on anything. It's best to wear thicker pants and they have to be long. And the best footwear is the thickest footwear you can find, like boots. You want to make sure that you're protecting your body from being harmed by any of the tools and that you don't have anything dangling that could be snagged on something and cause you harm or anybody around you. Now that we've talked about ladder safety, it's time to talk about scaffolding! Come on, let's go!